Imagine a disease so terrifying that its victims would burst into uncontrollable laughter. Not because they were happy, but because their brains were slowly being destroyed. Entire villages watched their loved ones stumble, laugh, lose control of their bodies, and eventually die. For years, nobody knew why. This is the story of Kuru, the disease known as the laughing death. In the remote highlands of Papua New Guinea, among the Fore people, a mysterious disease began killing hundreds of villagers. It was first reported in Western medicine in 1957 by Dr. Gajusek and Dr. Vincent Zegas. At first, nobody understood what was happening. Victims developed strange symptoms. They would lose balance. Their bodies trembled uncontrollably. Walking became difficult. Soon, they couldn't stand without support. Many patients showed sudden emotional changes, including inappropriate laughter, depression, or fear. Because of these disturbing bursts of laughter, journalists later called it the laughing disease. The Fore people believed sorcery was responsible, but the truth was far stranger. In 1957, a young physician named Michael Alpers began studying the strange epidemic. He traveled to remote villages and carefully recorded every case. Something unusual caught his attention. Most victims were women and children. Adult men were rarely affected. If this was caused by a virus or poison, why would it spare most men? The pattern didn't make sense. Researchers interviewed villagers and learned about an important funeral ritual. When a loved one died, family members consumed parts of the body as a final act of respect. Women and children were usually responsible for preparing and eating the brain. The pieces finally started fitting together. To test the theory, scientists took brain tissue from Kuru victims and injected it into chimpanzees. Years later, the animals developed the same disease. For the first time, researchers proved that Kuru was transmissible. Unfortunately, the brain contained a deadly infectious agent called a prion. A prion isn't a virus. It's simply a misfolded protein. But once it enters the body, it forces other normal proteins in the brain to fold incorrectly too. There are 3 stages to this disease: ambulant stage, sedentary stage, terminal stage, the later causing death of the person. There was no medicine, no vaccine, no surgery. Once symptoms appeared, nothing could stop the disease. The only solution was preventing new infections. Health authorities and local leaders worked with the Fore people to end ritual cannibalism. As the practice disappeared, new cases began falling dramatically. Today, Kuru has nearly vanished, not because a cure was found, but because its source was eliminated.